On this episode of Paw Prints, we'll be visiting the maternity wing at Woodlands Animal Sanctuary to meet some newborn kittens and meeting the residents of their cattery. We'll also be visiting Alan at Village Vets in the run-up to tortoise hibernation season. But first, we're headed over to Dogs Trust to find out how rewarding it is to rehome an older dog.
Sykes is 13 years old, he's a crossbreed. Sykes has been with us for about 2 years now. Still waiting for a home. He doesn't get an awful lot of interest, probably mainly due to his age. But he's a lovely boy, he's very people orientated, absolutely loves people, do anything you ask of him. And he just loves to please and have cuddles and snuggles. He's a sweetheart. Yeah, 13 is getting on a bit for a dog. It equates to about 84 in dog years, but dogs are living a lot longer these days. Healthcare is much better and people are much more clued up on how to look after old dogs and manage their diets and their exercise and medical needs a little better, so dogs are living a lot longer. Rehoming older dogs is a problem for some people because they tend to feel that they won't get an awful long time with them, but as I said, healthcare is much better for dogs and dogs are living longer, much healthier lives. So it's just a case of encouraging people to see that you know, a dog may be 13, but that doesn't mean he hasn't got a good 3 or 4 years left in him. Sykes is perfectly healthy, he's very active. There's no reason not to rehome an older dog really. You know what you're getting. More often than not, they're house trained. You know their histories, you know their medical needs. There's no surprises with an older dog, or there shouldn't be any surprises with an older dog. It's a bit of a bonus really. And they're often much calmer as well. So if you're an older person and you just want a companion for plodding around with, an older dog is great. Nobody wants to be bothered with a puppy when you're getting on yourself, so older dogs are a great way to go. We do get a lot of older dogs in for varying reasons. Quite often, like as in Sykes' case, Sykes' owner passed away, which quite often happens with older dogs. They come in because their owner's passed away. Sykes actually came via our canine care card, which is a scheme we run that people can sign up to, that means that in the event of their own death, dogs just will take on their dog and look after their dog no matter what the history or any issues that the dog may have. They can be assured that the dogs will still be cared for after they go. So it's a fantastic scheme. All of our older dogs go home under what we call our shared adoption scheme. This is something we run. If a dog has an illness or any kind of medical needs, then it means that we will pay for it, and we can do that with dogs of all ages, and that's just to encourage people to take on a dog that has medical issues. Sometimes dogs like Sykes, they don't have any medical issues, they're just a bit older. So for the same reason, just to encourage people to take them on, if they're concerned at all about veterinary costs that come with the dog's age, then it's not something they have to worry about, because we home them under the shared adoption scheme, and pretty much everything is paid for by us, apart from annual boosters and worming and flea treatments and so on. Everything's covered by Dogs Trust, so you've got no financial worries.
Woodlands Animal Sanctuary takes in many homeless cats every year. And sometimes female cats come to the sanctuary with little surprises. Trustee Liz Gould has offered to show us their dedicated maternity wing for their little bundles of joy.
Right, we're in the maternity unit. We have a 4-bay maternity unit here where our pregnant mums come in, or often a mum with kittens that's found in the shed, in the garden, or whatever by somebody who then brings them to us. At the moment we've got 3 mums and their kittens in here, plus 2 kittens that came in on their own. We've got varying ages, the kittens from very tiny to almost ready to go. This is Honey and her kittens. Honey came to us as a stray. She's got some absolutely gorgeous kittens, as you can see. Beautiful colours, mum and the kittens are beautiful colours. The kittens have all been reserved, except poor mum hasn't been, and that's quite often the way it works. The kittens have the R factor, mum doesn't necessarily have the same appeal as her kittens do, although she is such a beautiful cat. I'm sure somebody will come for her before too long. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she's been a good mum with her little brood as well. So once those kittens are 9 weeks old, they'll be ready to go. We keep them till they're 9 weeks old because they need to have their first vaccination, which we don't do till they are 9 weeks old, and then 48 hours after the vaccination they should be ready to go. They'll be vaccinated and microchipped and checked by the vet before they go to their new homes. It depends really, to be honest, on how much space we've got. We get calls and we can't help sometimes because we're too full. We obviously do try and give priority to pregnant mums and kittens, and we try and move things round to accommodate them if we can. But unfortunately, we always end up with a waiting list. We've constantly got a waiting list of cats waiting to come in. It depends on the circumstances. I mean, she was a stray. A lady found her with her kittens and contacted us, and we were fortunate enough to have the space to take her in maternity at the time. So she came into us very, very pregnant, and had her kittens here. And so they're absolutely beautiful. You can see how well they're doing, and what a good mum she's been as well. We've got Abby and her kittens. Now, Abby came to us from the vets. She'd been left in one of these woven plastic laundry bags with a message on it saying, fragile, contains pregnant cat, please find her a good home. And we got her on the Tuesday, and on the Thursday she presented us with these beautiful kittens, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And I'm pleased to say that they're all reserved, including Mum, because the lady who's taking some of the kittens is also taking Mum, so that's a really happy ending for her. But again, those kittens are not ready to go yet. I mean, they came in on the 31st of July. She came in on the 31st of July, the kittens were born a couple of days later, so they're only tiny babies yet. So it'll be a while before they're ready to go, but they have been reserved for good homes. I mean, what we need is people to spay and neuter their cats more. The problem is it's so easy now to just get another cat. If you get fed up with one, you just get rid of it and get another one because there's so many around. And spaying is expensive, but there is help for people on low incomes through various schemes, through the PDSA and various other places to help with neutering costs. Because it doesn't do a cat any good to keep having kittens, litter after litter of kittens either. So I mean, it is responsible ownership is getting your cat spayed or neutered and making sure that we try and curb the population explosion in kittens. There is supposed to be a kitten season that runs from the spring through to the end of the summer, early autumn. But the last couple of years, we've not really seen a drop in the number of kittens and pregnant cats coming in the winter, which is what you would expect. We normally get a bit of a breather in the winter from pregnant cats and kittens. In the last couple of years, it just hasn't happened. Whether that's because the winters are not as severe as they used to be or what, I really don't know. But we certainly haven't had any respite for the last couple of winters. But it's just such a shame because there's no need for a cat to have constantly have kittens. It's so easy to get them spayed, and our vets are very good. Our vets give a discount voucher for the any cats that we rehome that need spaying or neutering, to encourage the people to do that. So that's again, it's a drop in the ocean though if other people don't act responsibly with their cats. But these two came in on their own, little black and white and black, male and female, and they have been reserved. They're going to a lovely family in Halsall. They're nearly ready to go. They've got to have their vaccination yet, and once they've had that, 48 hours after vaccination, they'll be able to go to their new homes, going together to one family, which is really sweet. They came in together, and we really wanted them to be rehomed together as well. And the lady who actually is taking them came for one and ended up taking both, which is lovely. We're really happy ending for those two too, and they are so super cute. Unfortunately, not all our mums that come in are good mums. I mean, the ones we've got here, Abby and Honey, have both been exceptional mums. But we have had cats in the past who, for whatever reason, don't bond with their young ones. They can reject them completely, and we have to have them hand-reared, or they can just simply not be adequate mums. And when again, the only thing we can do is to take the kittens off them and hand-rear them. And it tends to be the staff from here, the girls from here, who take them home and hand-rear them. And that's really, really hard work. We went through a spell a while ago where we had so many sick kittens and kittens being hand-reared. We really were sort of tearing our hair out at one point, but it all came good in the end. It was all okay. But it's a huge dedication for the staff to take these cat animals home at the end of the day, and then they literally do take their work home with them, and they're hand rearing, they're feeding through the night and this sort of thing when they're very tiny. They've got to toilet them, they've got to teach them how to use litter trays, they've got to teach them how to eat solid food and all this sort of thing. And all the things that Mum would do if Mum was up for it, was able to do it. So it's a real dedication by the staff here, but they are so dedicated. Right, this is the cattery where our cats and kittens waiting for homes sort of live. There's a little group of 8 kittens in the corner here. Well, this group of 8 gorgeous kittens came into us from Liverpool on the 5th of September, and the family that brought them into us, their story is that the grandmother in the family had taken in a pregnant cat, a stray cat, not knowing that she was pregnant, and she gave birth to 8 gorgeous kittens, which the family have helped to rear, but obviously couldn't keep. So they paid to have mum neutered, but they brought the 8 little kittens to us. So we're doing our best to find good homes for these little monsters, and they are little monsters, the little devils. They're very, very cute. The sad thing about it is the tabbies are being reserved, and the black kittens, as we often find, are not being reserved. And that's quite typical of black cats. We reckon it can take somewhere around 20% longer to rehome a black cat or a black kitten, despite the fact these guys, as you can see, are absolutely gorgeous. People just don't want black or black and white kittens. They want the tabbies, they want the tortoises, the pretty ones. But these guys are lovely. They're going to make lovely pets and lovely cats as they grow up. And it's a shame that black cats generally are just overlooked in favour of the pretty tabbies or the pretty tortoises, because they all deserve a good home, and they'll all make lovely pets at the end of the day, regardless of their colour.
Thousands of cats are left without homes in the UK every year, either abandoned, lost or feral. These cats are often helped by animal sanctuaries and rescues such as Woodlands. However, some cats are unable to be rehomed due to age or illness. So Woodlands has built their permanent residence a little home of their own.
Okay, this is our residence lodge, and this is where our resident cats spend their nights, and quite often spend their days in the colder weather as well, because it's nice and warm in here. We built this, we received a grant to build this, to make it a really home from home home for them, for the residents, because just because they live here doesn't mean that they shouldn't have all the home comforts that cats at home have. And this is, settees, there's sort of comfy chairs and all this sort of thing, but the thing that I think I like the most about this are the window boxes. And this was the idea of the man who built this for us, who said, cats like to be up high, don't they? And they like to look out of windows. So with every window, he put a window box in the window, and the cats have a heated pad under here in the colder weather, and you quite often see 1 or sometimes 2 curled up together in the window box, looking out the window, surveying their domain and watching what's going on outside as well. We have a cat flap in the door so they can come and go in the day, and they have the run of the cattery in the day, and then at night they come back here, and this is their little home from home. They tend to come to us as residents because they either have a medical issue, or they have some sort of behavioural problem, or they're just not suitable for rehoming for one reason or another. I must admit, I don't know with Carrie what her particular reason was that we kept her. Just old.
Feral.
A lot of them come to us as feral. It turns out they're actually not feral at all. They're just somebody's pet that's ended up living rough. And when you get to know them, and we get to give them a bit of TLC, you find out they're actually quite sweet cats. But quite a few of our residents have major health issues. I mean, Biscuit has a skin disorder, like an eczema that flares up from time to time, and you couldn't expect someone to take that on in a cat, an adopted cat. So they live their lives out with us, but we thought they deserved to have somewhere really nice to live. And this is the result. It's the Residence Lodge. And again, we couldn't have done this without the grant that we got from the France Hayes Trust, which we're very grateful for. It gave us the money to make a real nice little place for our resident cats to spend their nights and the days too, because quite often in the summer when it's hot, they'll curl up here and the windows will be open, they'll be looking out the windows and so on. So it's quite a nice little spot for them. In fact, we had an open day here a few years back, and I was telling people about the lodge, and this young man said to me, "Do you know, this is better than my flat?" He said, "I think I'll move in here with the cats. It's so much nicer than where I live." So that's nice to know that our cats have got somewhere good to live.
It's the time of year when many animals go into hibernation, and this includes some breeds of tortoises. Hibernation can actually often be a dangerous time for tortoises, and lots of work goes into preparing them way before they actually enter hibernation. For example, they need to be empty of food and full of water, and hibernated in very exact conditions. Vets such as Alan Humphreys at Village Vets also have to give them the once-over beforehand to make sure they're healthy and suitable to hibernate.
I'm Jane Drinkwater from North Wales Reptile and Raptor Sanctuary, and I'm on my annual tortoise pilgrimage to Village Vets. We come every year around pre-hibernation time, sometimes September, sometimes October. I bring all my tortoises, even the ones that won't hibernate, and Alan gives them a full MOT and check-up, and at this point we decide who's fit enough to hibernate and who isn't. It's natural and it's right for them to hibernate, and the females particularly, the males need it, but the females particularly have to be hibernated or they end up very unwell. A tortoise hibernates for a max of 3 months a year, so you're not looking at a full winter. And we use a wine cooler, and they hibernate at between 5 and 5.5 degrees C, so you have to keep your wine cooler at that temperature for all of that time. We also put a box in there with dry, not wet compost, dryish, so that they can regulate their humidity as well when they're in there. And while they're under hibernation, they're weighed every week and they're tested every week. It sounds a bit technical, tested, but what you're actually doing is you're just giving them, pressing their legs, and what you're after is the same reaction you would get with a small child when asleep, sort of, get off me mum. And that shows that they're still, if they're a bit listless or their weight's dropping too rapidly or anything like that, they're pulled out of hibernation. They don't have to do their 3 months, they just have to hibernate for a bit. Well, not all species of tortoise hibernate to begin with, so you have to be certain on which species you've got. Nabulensis particularly are a breed that look like most Mediterranean tortoises but aren't a hibernating species, so you have to be certain you've got your right tortoise in the first place. And then hibernation is such a dangerous time that you have to be certain your animal's fit and well before you put your tortoise into hibernation. If it's not fit and well, you're likely to kill it. It'd be better off keeping it awake. Full x-rays, there are 3 different varieties of x-rays, looking for any foreign objects which we've seen over the years that tortoises have eaten. We're looking for any solid infections, maybe kidney stones or bladder stones, and the females we're looking for eggs, because you don't want to hibernate a female who's got any eggs.
Right, it's annual tortoise pre-hibernation check time. So, who have we got? Right, helmet.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any problems with the helmet?
None whatsoever. He's his usual full of himself self.
Okay. Last year we weighed 920 grams, and this year we're on 910.
Yeah.
So that's nice and steady. Looking over helmet, he's had a good year. Condition's good. Skin's good. Beak's good. We had to trim it a bit last time, but it's fine now. No discharge from the nose. No discharge from the eyes. Remember, Jane, using a stethoscope is a waste of time on a tortoise, so we'll just stick him up here, and we've got nice gentle breathing. There's no clicks, there's no snottiness, no sinus noises, and that's fine. Legs are moving nicely, because you know they have to move their legs in and out to breathe. Right, let's have a look in your mouth. Let's see. Today you're going to go, that's good, okay. Have we stopped feeding them? No?
Not him, no, he's not going down until later in the year.
Alright, well the mouth's great, tongue's good, there's no jaundice, there's no yellowness that I can see. We've got a lovely pink tongue, that's super. That's really sharp, the end of that, don't want to get caught by that. These are old injuries, really quite common to see old injuries like this on tortoises, wild tortoises as well. And it looks scary, but this isn't bone, right? When you see this, this is not bone. Tortoises is called osteoderm, so it's tough skin which has characteristics of bone and skin, but this is not bone, so very often clients get really upset because they think, oh, the bone's showing. No, it just happens to be white. That might eventually return to colour, but it probably won't. You see this a lot in wild tortoises from trauma. You see it after fires. It's a very nice collection in South Africa where they have lots of injuries like this, and you know they're decades old, these injuries, and tortoises are doing fine as long as they don't get infected and they're looked after nicely. It's great. So little boy, long tail, little claw, a bit like a cat's claw. So that's the easiest trace. So flat tummy, long tail, claw, a bit like a cat's claw. Absolutely fine. I've got no problems with helmet at all. He can go in for hibernation. What did we do last year? 3 months?
Yep.
Okay, go for about the same.
This is Saxon. This beautiful boy's been here a couple of weeks. He's looking for a home where he's not on his own too long. He loves attention, gets very anxious when he's on his own. But he's great with kids aged over 8, but he does need to be the only pet in the home. So that would be the perfect home for Saxon. If anyone can offer him that, we'll be really, really pleased. We're open every day except Wednesday, 12 till 4, or give us a call on 0151 480 0660.
Dio's been with us for 4 years now. She came to us originally because she'd attacked a little girl that she was with. Not too badly, but she jumped on her and upset her quite a bit. So she's been with us. She was rehomed to an old woman, but unfortunately she attacked her as well. But as you can see, she's quite a nice cat generally. She just has a few moments where she's not too happy, but if you know cats quite well, she's a nice cat to be around. So she's quite happy to be stroked. She enjoys the quiet life. Experienced cat owners really, someone who knows cats before, who's had them, who knows sort of look out for the signs where she's not too happy. Because she's a nice cat, but when she wants to be left alone, she wants to be left alone. She'd need to be the only cat. She likes all the attention to herself. She likes to be around someone who gives her lots of cuddles and keeps her happy. They'd speak to the cattery. We'd have a little interview with them, just see their experience with cats, whether they've had them before, whether they'd be suitable for her sort of personality. If everything was okay, we do a home check for them. So we contact the volunteer home checker who comes out to check the sort of safety of the home, see where she's going to be living, see how she's going to be. And once that's passed, they can come and collect her. It usually only takes about 24 or 48 hours.